Hello and welcome to Let's Breathe Together. My name is Ariel Kiley. It is Sunday, August 2nd, 2020. Can you believe that we are well over halfway through 2020? Perhaps one of the most unexpected years I have ever had in my life. Who the heck would have known what 2020 would have been like back in January? Today, first of all, thank you for being here. I'm so delighted that you all are here, either live or in the recording after. Today's topic is combo, rise and shine / getting unstuck. And this originated from, I sometimes get the question from people who think about wanting to have like a morning ritual or wanting to go out in the world and do things that are good for them on a regular basis. I sometimes get the question from people, how do I do that if I feel really stuck? Like if you wake up in the morning and you feel stuck in bed, like you just don't want to get out of bed, or if you think about opening the door and going out into the world and you're just afraid, like there's something that keeps stopping you and pulling you back into your house and it's hard to go out and engage with the world. And I don't mean, now during COVID times, going out and socializing with tons of people, just like stepping out and doing things that are good for you, like taking a walk or running an errand you really need to run, and kind of the energy of being able to go out of that little cave of your home and step out in the world. So part of this is about you getting unstuck, being able to overcome that resistance to step out. And then the other part is just like the positive of it, rise and shine. How great it feels when you do wake up and you feel shiny and you feel your glow and you feel your life force and you feel like your enthusiasm for life actually draws you out into the world, which of course is the ideal. But when you're more stuck, sometimes there's a process to getting unstuck and getting to that feeling of being able to just rise and shine. So today's class is really about techniques to deal with your stuckness if you feel stuck, and that process to going from being stuck to being able to step out in the world. And in particular, I want to help you design a little morning ritual for yourself that really specifically serves you and your nature. I always have a morning ritual that I do for myself before I begin the day, and it's imperative to my mental, emotional, physical health that I take care of myself first. So I'm going to give space for that too. But let's right now just breathe together. So will you all find your comfortable seat, a seat that feels like you? So like you can sit cross-legged if that feels like you. You can just sit upright with your feet on the floor. But just notice how the animal that you are, the human animal that you are, feels and wants to sit today. And create that seat for yourself, making any little adjustments. I just noticed my feet wanted to kind of wiggle a little wider than they were. Any little adjustments to support yourself. And lightly close your eyes if that's all right. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can keep them open. And let's take 3 breaths together. So inhale through the nose and exhale. And inhale and exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And take a few more moments here, just lingering with your attention within, in your inner world, sensing how you feel today. what brought you to this gathering here. And also sensing the other beings on this call. You all are literally all over the world, and you all set aside this time to breathe together, to set up your nervous system, your mind, your body in a way that really serves you, and let yourself fully arrive. So if part of you is outside the room, if part of you doubts your choice to be here, let go of those doubts and just fully arrive. Commit to getting what you want and need from this time. And then you can peek around your space. So just look at the space around you, the walls, the furniture, the things in your environment, visually orienting. And now I really want to feel into this the stuck energy. And in my work, I do trauma resolution, processing, and prevention work as a yoga therapist. In my work, I don't ever advocate denying your nature. So when you have a feeling that's uncomfortable, you don't like it, you wish it were otherwise, I do not advocate forcing yourself to do something else or ignoring yourself. I'm all about going in. So the nature of stuckness, and the thing is, when you go in and you fully experience and are with something, it starts to show you how it needs to change. That's why, not so you just bask in your stuckness, but it shows you the way through. So I want to kind of categorize stuckness in 3 different categories. And as I share these, you can think about if you've experienced any of these kinds of stuckness in your life. One kind of stuckness is you're grieving. You know, like, and you can grieve because you lost a human close to you, or a furry friend, an animal close to you. You might be grieving someone, it's just like someone died or someone passed on. Like that creates your body needs to grieve that passing. You also might be grieving because you had a breakup, a relationship ended, and your heart hurts. And you're needing to grieve and mourn the passing of that relationship. That's another reason you might be grieving. And along those categories, that kind of spectrum of loss, you could have also just lost your job or lost something else, your home, that's really important to you. And there's a feeling of in your body, like, I need to grieve. I need to be I need to let the process of this loss unfold. Now, if you are in one of those, I lost something and I'm grieving, stuck experiences, in order to truly finish the grieving process, it's important to let yourself be in it. So it's not like forcing yourself to pep up or forcing yourself to, take uppers or something to try and get yourself out of that feeling. Grieving and mourning can actually be really a beautiful, poetic, yes, sad, but beautiful experience of honoring the loss of something that was important to you and transitioning. So just take a moment for a second and reflect. Have you ever been in grieving because you've lost something or someone close to you? And just like lovingly, kindly, and if you want to rest your hand on your body somewhere, if that's comforting, just tuning in and remembering, oh yeah, there's a profound slowing down and going within that happens when you lose something and you need to grieve it. And then also just feeling into, is that happening for you now at all? And you can take some breaths here, do some breathing. And just feeling into any feelings of grieving that might be in your recent or far distant past. And bringing kind attention to that energy. It needs time, it needs care, it needs to be felt in order to be processed for peppy action to come back. So that's one form of feeling stuck. I was just thinking too, there can be collective cultural grieving around the loss of an important human. You know, like it doesn't have to be super personal to you. So the next form of stuckness, and maybe we should just let's breathe together first. Let's take 3 breaths together. So will you just sit how you feel comfortable sitting? Sit so your lungs can be free and open, and let's inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Okay, so the next kind of stuckness, the next flavor of stuckness you might sometimes experience is basically you've experienced some kind of trauma. So you were in an intense and overwhelming situation. It could have been a singular incident or an ongoing situation that your survival instincts were thwarted. Your need to fight or flee, to fight for your territory, or to run, to get out of there, to escape, or your need to freeze was somehow incomplete. That survival response was incomplete from a singular incident or a series of cumulative incidents. And oftentimes when we have trauma in our system, there's this built up feeling of anxiety, of stress, of frustration, of rage, of overwhelm, of dissociation, being checked out. And you find you don't have as many skills in daily life to take care of yourself and take care of your relationships. Now, how that might show up if you're stuck is the idea of going out and taking care of yourself and doing positive things for yourself. You just feel this inability to do it. You feel your system is like jammed up. Like you know you want to do something good for yourself. You know you want to take a long walk. You know you want to go do some yoga, or you know whatever it is that feels good for you, but you just feel like I can't. Now there might be very real fear in your system, very real terror around what could happen if you go out in the world and are exposed, either for your physical danger or for your danger to your identity, your sense of yourself as a human being. And that's very real. And that's a very real reason your animal nature might want to keep yourself tucked in, hiding under the covers. So let's tune in for a second, and you can just feel, and you can feel this as heavily or as lightly as you want to. Let's just feel into if you've ever had a time in your life where you have experienced a trauma, either a short one or an ongoing one, or you feel the residue of one from childhood, and you've had that feeling like, I'm scared to go out in the world. So just tuning in and seeing if you can recognize a time like that when you're scared to go out in the world. Or you have to force yourself out, but when you do go out, you're not all on board. You're like, half of you wishes you weren't going out. And just remembering what that felt like and how very real that is. And let's take 3 breaths together. I'm going to give you more specific strategies, but right now we're just becoming aware of these ways we get blocked. 3 breaths together. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale and inhale And exhale. I feel like there are like a lot of buzzy motorcycles out right now. So if you're hearing that buzzing, they're not giant bumblebees. They're buzzy motorcycles, people having fun zipping around. Okay. So the next form of being stuck. Oh God, this kind of actually, I got two more. One just came to me when I was tuning in. I was remembering when I had a job that was just wrong for my nature. I am not like a desk job person. It just doesn't suit my nature very well. And I had a desk job and it was a good one. And I really liked my boss. It was a great position for the American film market back in my 20s. But it was so against my nature that it was really hard to leave home in the morning to go to this job because my body knew I was going to be sitting in front of this computer for 8 hours in this cubicle, and it's just not my nature to do that. Some people have a much stronger aptitude for that, or the work is so compelling that it's okay that they're kind of in this cubicle environment. So I'm curious too if you have had that experience where you're going, the thing you're going to do is creating a feeling of block. Like there's something inside you just digging in your heels. Like when you were a kid and you're like, I don't want to go to school. Like that, just like that environment is not right for me. Can you take a moment to tune in, to sit tall and tune in and just acknowledge now or in the past, have you been in a situation where you feel stuck because your nature knows the place you're supposed to go to isn't suited to you? And just like really acknowledging how your nature knew that or knows that. And recognizing that and honoring that. You're so wise. Your body knows what it wants and doesn't want and needs and doesn't need. And then let's take 3 breaths together. Inhale. Exhale. And 2 more. And then the last kind of stuckness I want to offer up is probably the most fun one. It's that you sense that your guides, your angels, your God, whoever you talk to, the universe, the planet, has something kind of awesome in store for you. Like there's something out there that's calling you that you want to do, that you want to engage in. And actually the big energy around your positive urge to go to the next level is overwhelming for you. So it's that feeling of like, uh-oh, I just got a glimmer of what the most meaningful path for me would be. And I know the steps, the next few steps I need to take. And now I'm scared to death because it's asking for expansion. It's asking for me to get bigger. It's asking for me to trust my enthusiasm. And that can make us feel really vulnerable too. And I'm scared to go out because of this good thing that's calling me. That's so real. And it can be really painful too when it's like right on the other side of the door, but you can't get yourself out the door. So let's tune in for a moment and see if you can remember, or maybe that's happening for you now, or remember. And just breathing and seeing if you can remember a time when like you felt really called. You felt really called towards something important to you. And then there was this great fear around going out and pursuing it. And notice the big energy around something like that, how you might feel like an increased heart rate. And when we are more in our survival places in our body, the big energy of things that are positive can actually overwhelm us too. It's like the big energy of being scared of something out there. So being able to discern those two is really important. Let's take 3 breaths together. In and out, and in and out, and in and exhale. And just sitting with yourself for a few more breaths and sensing your own body, your own life force, your vitality. And if there are any feelings of stuckness, name for yourself which one or combination feels like makes you feel stuck. If it's you're grieving, or there's been trauma and there's fear around going out, it feels safer to stay in. Or you're digging your heels in, you're digging your little hoops in, the place that you know you're supposed to go feels wrong for your nature. Or something beautiful is blooming for you, and there's big energy around it and it makes you nervous. Can I really do that? What happens if I try and fail? Noticing how you might feel a little more stuck. And then as you notice your stuckness, this is the first step, first to name it, right? To acknowledge what it is, to name it. And then be with it, be with it. So feel in your body as you sense your own stuckness, what happens to your breath? What happens to your body tension? When I think about what I'm excited about, the back of my neck gets really tense. Track for yourself the way you feel stuck and how it affects you physiologically. And then scoop the story of it off. So if it's the story of how you lost someone important to you, just gently releasing the story. If it's the story of how you can't stand your job, gently releasing your job. Whatever it is, release the story and just be with the pure sensation. So just be with the shortness of breath. Just be with the butterflies in your stomach. Just be with the feeling of someone gripping the back of your neck. Be with the weight on your forehead. Be with however the physical body holds this intense, stuck energy. And let your breath be as it is, but just sitting with it. Sitting with the sensation and studying it like a scientist. And as you study it, notice how it changes. When we're present with something within, instead of trying to override or change it, we're just letting it be, it starts to lead us. It might get more intense first. Keep noticing your seat and your feet, but notice where it takes you if you just stay present with it. And a sign that the energy is shifting around it would be that you naturally take a deeper inhale and exhale. You feel an overall feeling of settling in your body. Or there's tingling or movement towards the end of your limbs. Now let's come back out of that and just do some simple physical movements so that you know you can now move just a little bit. And this is the beginning of bigger movements. So as you come out of it, will you just do a simple little head circle? And it doesn't have to be a big head stretch. It's just like a little bit of a bobblehead head circle. And notice like, oh, I can move my head. I can handle this. And then circle your head the other way. And now look over one shoulder and look over the other shoulder. And look over the first shoulder and look over the second shoulder. And one more time over each shoulder. I can turn my head. And then come back and just do some simple shoulder circles. I can move my shoulders. And now, if it's not too wild feeling, lift your arms up overhead and reach for the ceiling. If you want, you can do some little fluttery fingers. And just reach up a little higher with one hand. And reach up a little higher with the other hand. And the first hand. And the second hand. And then come back to center. Turn your palms out to the sides and reach a big circle around you. So it's like you're making lots of space for you to be you within. You make a big circle around you. Yeah. And just bring your hands through prayer. Bring them back up toward the ceiling. Once again, turn your palms out and make a big circle around you, making plenty of space for you to be you. And one more like that. Your prayer comes up through center and a big circle around you. And let's take 3 breaths together. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Now, I want you to feel into where you sense in your body your wisdom center is right now. Places people often feel their inner wisdom is their heart or their belly. And sometimes other places it shows up. Sometimes it is in your head, which is totally cool. So just sense, if you close your eyes and ask your body, where is my nature's wisdom center? Ask your body, where is my wisdom center? And then if you're comfortable doing so, rest a hand right on your wisdom center and it'll bring even more power and attention there. And ask your wisdom center, what do I need? What step, what little ritual would help take me out of my feelings of stuckness? So what simple thing helps move me out of stuckness into the world? And just tune in, tune in, tune in, and see if an answer arises. For me, for Ariel, taking a walk is really important every morning to transition from feeling stuck to feeling able to go into the world. But there are also things like painting helps me get unstuck. Writing helps me get unstuck. Yoga and stretching is really powerful for getting unstuck. I'm very curious, and there's a few more practices we're going to do, but I'm very curious for what came up for you that helps you get unstuck. If you're open, any of you, to typing in the chat box what helps get you unstuck, it might help for the people who are even like stuck on ideas to sense what helps others transition. You know, another thing that helps me is reading something inspiring that can really help me transition. So if you had something come up that helps you get unstuck and you're open to just typing it in the chat box, just like a quick word or two, please do share. Oh, Elizabeth said, oh, cool. Elizabeth said, taking pause before reacting. Nice. So like a conscious pause helps you get unstuck. Jane said, using my hands to type, to cook, to touch myself. Oh, fascinating. Cooking, yeah, with your hands. I do that too. Ariel said, breathing, laughter, and caress. Oh, really neat. Debbie said, therapy balls on the mat. Great. This is so cool. Touching myself, caress, therapy balls on the mat. Those are ways to stimulate your nerves, your muscles. Really great. Liz, singing. Oh my gosh, how right is that? Singing. I forget about singing. Lori says, walking, yoga, and breathing. Bill says walking, especially amongst trees, and if there is a view from on high, also reading. You know, I do that too. I try and walk up a hill so I can see a view, which creates this version of perspective. Ooh, those are great ideas. They really let you, these are really cool too, because they let you be in your nature, be in your body, connect more to your body and to nature. I feel like it might be cool for us, just as a practice in between here, to do an om, just as a nod to singing, to vocalize, to bring sound up from your body and out into the world. Janet said, drinking tea and feeding my animals. Really cool. So simple. Nurturing yourself, nourishing your little beings that live with you. Let's do one om together and have that feeling of sound coming up and out. So we can do let's do the 3 parts of it first so that you feel really ready. So the first part is just the sound ah. So what you can do is inhale and then make the sound ah for as long as you can. So I'll kick it off. Inhale. And then the next part of om is the ooh, ooh. Let's try that one. So you inhale. Ooh. And the last part is the mmm. And with mmm, you bring the resonance right up above your lip. You might even feel it quivering a little bit. Just brushing my soft little mustache. So, mmm, inhale. And then we put them all together. It's ah, ooh, but smooth them out. So let's do that one piece, and then we'll move on. So you inhale nice and full. And notice if that helps wake up your body, if you feel more present here, ready. I just thank you for bringing up singing. Of course, singing well, singing terribly, so good. Okay. So the next piece, and just to review, we went over 4 ways that you might feel stuck: grief, trauma, you don't like what you're going to out there, it doesn't suit your nature, and in excitement, expansion is happening. And then we did a practice where you tune in, you name what's causing you. Naming it is a really important part of this process. You name what's causing you to feel stuck. And then you get really present with it, kind attention to it. Notice how it's physiologically sitting in your body, and lovingly, respectfully be with it and breathe with it for a period of time until you feel a little shift, a settling, a deeper breath, until you feel a little shift. Now, when you feel that little shift, tune into the wisdom center in your body, however it presents right then. Not your thought about what you're supposed to be doing, the wisdom center in your body, and ask it, what's the first best step that's true to me to move through this block? And then you hear what it says. Now, what you can do as you get to know the different things that help you move through blocks, you can create a little ritual around them. So it could be, morning ritual is great because you can just wake up and do it first thing in the day, but you can do midday rituals and evening rituals too that support your nervous system. And as I was recently thinking about how I want to talk about like the trauma healing work I do, I realized prevention is a big part of it. Yes, it's also resolution, completing things, and processing things, but also prevention. And these little rituals you do that help take care of your body, that help you rise and shine, help you not get as battered by the world, help you make better choices for your nature as you move through the world, and also help set you up. And I am a big mother effing proponent of this, for designing a life that doesn't involve compromise to your nature. As most of you know, a year and a half ago, I completely quit my life in New York City and moved into a little camper and lived in the desert all winter in Joshua Tree, because I knew I needed a massive reset, because I had a series of habits and behaviors that weren't true to my nature going. And so I'm not like, hey, do a couple tweaks so you can keep going to your compromised job forever. I'm like, hey, what are the things you can do every day to support your truth, to support your nature, so that you can continually craft a life that you want to get up and rise and shine for? And that can be a lifelong practice. You know, it's not like, oh, you're going to figure this out in 3 months, but like, to be committed to your nature is really an essential message of my teaching. So I think it would be really cool if you're a note taker, if you like to take notes, you can have a notebook nearby or your cell phone notes. But let's do I want to do a little guided meditation with you, guided breathing meditation. And you're going to take a little journey inward to design what could be your morning ritual for yourself. Yay. Okay. So first of all, will you get in a position that feels really true to you right now? So it doesn't have to be like a idea of a perfect meditation position. If that's comfortable for you, cool. But choose the position that really feels true to you. It might feel nice to be able to rest your back on something. I'm gonna get one of my pillows to put behind my back, because my back feels ready for that. Choosing to make yourself comfortable is one of those little things you can do on a regular basis that seems small, but is training you to honor what your body says it needs. So giving yourself the cushions, choosing clothes and shoes that you feel good and comfortable in, you know, like going pee when you need to go pee instead of holding it in forever to, you know, wait till the meeting's over. Okay. So make yourself really comfortable. And lightly close your eyes if that's okay. And let's just find a nice rhythm to our breath together. So breathing through the nose, inhale, fill up, pause at the top, and exhale out the nose. Inhale, fill up, belly, chest. Pause, and exhale out the nose. Inhale, belly, chest, fill up a little fuller. Pause. Exhale out the nose. And a few more rounds of that abdominal thoracic breath, belly to chest with a little pause at the top. And exhaling out the nose, just using this breath to really dial into your own divine animal nature. And then I'm going to ask you to just tune into some different categories here. So you can keep your attention internal and imagine you've just woken up in the morning. So it's that moment when you just wake up and you have this whole day ahead of you. And you think about in that moment, what does my body really need? What does my body really need? And if you think about movement, touch, some kind of massage or self-care or a loofah or tapping, and cleansing routines too, taking a shower, taking a bath, holding a cold compress to your eyes. What does my body really need to transition into the day in a way that feels good and in a way that really honors my body? It could be strengthening or stretching work. It could be intuitive dance and movement. And just ask your body, what do you really need and love to have to transition into the day? And see if you can come up with 3 ideas to help your body feel really good and awake and alive in the morning that are true to you. It might be your favorite pop song and dancing to it. And if you like to take notes, you can just jot down 3 simple body rituals. Walking counts for this. but we're also going to have a nature category, which can include walking. I think it's really important too, if you are taking like online classes or something for movement, that you really like the people that you're taking them from, that you want their energy in your life first thing in the morning. I wound up just creating a bunch of 20-minute really raw audio recordings of myself teaching yoga, because I realized I don't really want to I don't have that person that I want to turn on a screen really early and look at them. So I just made like really raw yoga classes for myself. So refining things too, to really make sure certain energies you might not want first thing in the morning. So once you have 3 things that you can do for your body that your body loves, for me, I have walking, a conscious shower, like the feeling of water on my body, conscious showering, and stretch and strength combined, which looks like yoga stretching with a little strengthening. Now my next question is consumption. And you can go back into that kind of meditative place, breathing and thinking, drinking, eating, things that you take in. It could even be deep breathing, like essential oils or something. That might be something that you consume internally, and just feel into, is it a water drinking ritual? Is it tea? Is it coffee? What about food? Is it fresh melon? What is the food your body really wants that helps you feel good when you wake up? And see if you can come up with 2 or 3 things about consumption, how you consume things when you start the day that feel super nourishing to you. Of course, there's some things we consume that help push us back into stuckness. Like if I wake up and eat certain things, they kind of stick me back into myself. When I was 20, I used to love to wake up, have a cup of coffee and a Marlboro Red cigarette. And that would kind of like knot up my energy. Having that cigarette would like knot it up. Harder to go running after that. So have a couple notes on consumption. I love to drink clear, clean water out of a beautiful glass. I'll show you the glass I drink out of. I got this from Goodwill. I have a couple, but something about drinking water out of this glass feels better than drinking water out of any old glass. So it makes it more of a ritual. Okay, let's go back into meditation. And I want to invite you to feel into inspiration as a topic. So if you, again, close your eyes, tune into your breath, feel into your body. And there are certain teachers, writers, singers, poets, speakers. And it could also be the animal kingdom, nature, that inspire you. That if you read a few of their words or tune into their message, you're inspired. There's a resonance with how you want to live. There might be podcasters. Just tune into what are 2 or 3 ways. I think it's good to ask yourself to find 3 ways that I gain inspiration that helps me feel unstuck, helps me feel more in my nature. And then write those 3 ways down. What are 3 points of inspiration that you get? If I read a little Krishnamurti, I'm like kind of just like dialed in to the present moment. So what are 3 inspiration sources for you? Write them down for yourself, or you can just remember them, make a mental note, but writing might help them stick. Could also be great music, really inspired music. I love this book, The Miracle of Mindfulness by Thich Nhat Hanh. Something like, when you find your little wisdom book and you just read a few sentences. Oh, look, there's a picture of me and my best friend, Kristen, in it. We were 18, 17. We both graduated high school early and moved to Santa Cruz together and lived in a one bedroom apartment. Went and saw the redwoods. So write down 3 things that bring you inspiration in the morning. You might also notice there are some things that are really not best to listen to first thing in the morning. I really strategically plan when I take in news, and I find first thing in the morning, reading the news or listening to a news program isn't the best to set myself up for the day. I listen to that later, but for you, it might work really well. So you can just feel into that. Oh my gosh, time is marching on. Okay, next one. Arts. Are there any arts things that inspire you? I like to do watercolor painting sometimes. It helps me process. I did this watercolor painting at the top of the Hollywood Reservoir recently. I don't do it because I'm an artist. I do it because there's something about painting that brings me into my nature. And if you're a singer, if you're a writer, like what artistic thing helps set you up for the day, to even just as a little practice, not because you're going for a result, dials you in. Take a note on the artistic thing that helps you connect to your nature, your truth, your spirit. It's not wrong to get up and write a poem every single morning. I did a practice for a while when I lived in Clinton Hill of walking to the Fort Greene Park, setting a timer for 11 minutes, observing nature for that timer, and then writing a poem just about what I saw after it. And the most amazing poems came out of it. It was such a good ritual. Okay. And then finally, sound. So this is like how you want to hear the world. Whether you want to get up and listen to um, the trees, whether you want to put on beautiful music, and this kind of follows other categories too, and whether you want to create sound and resonance, chanting, singing, hearing your own voice, activating your voice, because sound and the resonance of sound is really powerful. So just tune in and take a couple notes on sound, how you might include sound, both listening and creating sound in your morning ritual. Is silence really important to you for a while in the morning? Hmm. Do you get up and do some beatboxing to warm up your mouth? That would be interesting. We do got to hit nature though. Finally, nature. How do you need and want to interact with nature? Do you say hi to your plants in the morning? Do you take a walk and look at the view? Do you hug trees? Do you go barefoot, stand outside barefoot? When I was in Joshua Tree, I do a ritual every morning when the sun rose. I would stand outside barefoot and sun gaze at the sun because I get like sun gazing right at dawn and at sunset is really good and strengthening for your eyes. So I'd stand with my bare feet on the ground and sun gaze for like 10 minutes at sunrise, that kind of thing. Like what does your nature really want to, how does it want to connect with the earth and with nature when it wakes up? Will you take a couple notes on that? And now, out of these things, now you have this massive list of things that suit your nature. What you can do is mix and match each morning. And you can scale it too to the amount of time you feel that you have. So you wake up, you notice, how am I feeling today? And if you feel stuck, name why and how. For instance, if you are grieving something really hard or you are coming out of a really traumatic situation, you might just scale this to the tiniest thing, getting yourself to a comfortable chair, doing something comforting like putting on clothing that feels good on your skin. So you're feeling a good feeling on your skin, and having a cup of tea that feels really nourishing. That's a ritual. And maybe stepping outside and taking 5 breaths of fresh morning air. That's a ritual. And some days you might be able to scale this much bigger and do many more things and with your body and your mind. But I encourage you going forward over the next month to experiment each morning with some of this, and shape your own little ritual, okay? And see how it affects your nature and see how it affects you, helps you get unstuck. So let's take just 3 more breaths together. Inhale and exhale, and inhale and exhale, and inhale and exhale. And then as you think about what you're doing next in the day, just think about what would be really lovely for your nature. And if possible, do that. I'm going to stay on for another minute or so. If any of you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to read them and see them and respond. And if you are ready to pop off to your next thing, I hope you have a really beautiful rest of your Sunday. And I will be back in a month, the first Sunday of September, to do another Let's Breathe together. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be here for a minute if you have anything else you want to share. You're welcome, Holly. You're welcome, Kareth. You're welcome, Janet. You're welcome, Pam. Have a great month. You're welcome, Elizabeth. See you soon. You're welcome, Bill. Thanks, Debbie. You're welcome, James. I'm so glad you found it awesome. I find you to be awesome. You're welcome, Katrina. Yeah, tell me how it goes. I'm really curious what you all will do. All right, then. I guess I will sign off, wishing you all many deep breaths in the next month. And I can't wait to see you when I see you again. Bye.